Yeah, so this is Fred Smith, and I really want to go in today. We have an expert panel here with TrueBrow. We have Elle Wilson leading the pack, and what I really want to go into today was the actual TrueBrow mystique. And the reasons why I say it like that is because most people think that this is true magic, but in fact, there is a very scientific process as well as the art involved with that. So we wanted to go around the room today and actually see it in real time, the before and the afters. And Elle, if you can just introduce the panel and also what inspired this particular masterclass and the outcome that we're looking for, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, Fred, so much. Thank you, everybody. Well, I have two special guests today. I have Sabrina Ehlis from Minneapolis. Hey, Sabrina.
Hi, Elle. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we love having you. It's lovely to see your beautiful face. And Sabrina, of course, you're the head educator for the USA. So you've been with TrueBrow for, would you like to tell us how long?
Almost 11 years. 11 years since 2013.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. We're going to come back to you because you've got so much knowledge to share. And KC, we have KC Demarest. Hi, KC. How are you?
Hi, Elle. I'm doing good.
That's wonderful. And KC, would you like to share a little bit about where you are, where you're located, how long you've been with us? And
I am in
background.
Yeah, I'm in North Dakota, Watford City, North Dakota. And I've been with TrueBrow since 2015, and I've loved every second of it, of course. Yeah, so.
And you actually came and had a little trip to Greece.
I did.
Did a retreat for 3 days, which was amazing. So that was beautiful just this year. So these two girls, Fred, have been selected because they've been with us for such a long time, and it's really beautiful. You know, I look forward to actually bringing other specialists on and having these beautiful conversations. But today we have Sabrina and KC, and I'm so excited. I think that today what I would like to do is really see TrueBrow, not only from the system, not just the brand, but the actual system itself, the methodology, from their eyes rather than just from mine, because I think that's really, really important. They're on the ground. They've actually got their hands in the trenches every single day working on brows. And we have some of their work that we can even share at some point, but they can really share in their own way. And I think that's really, really important, because I want at the end of this, the outcome, because you did ask me that, just off the fly like that. I have to make something up. No, I don't. I want the outcome to be clarity for the beauty professional or the aspiring brow specialist. So someone that wants to step in and change their career, or someone that actually knows they don't know enough about brows. They really don't know how to get their clients' brows into a place where that's remarkable. You know, as much as they can do can be done. And I think that I would like for them to have that clarity by the end of this panel, when the panel's finished.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, because that's one of the reasons why I'm thankful that we're having this panel, because I did want to start off with you, Sabrina, and then KC, as far as like what inspired you really when you first saw TrueBrow? Like what was that aha moment? Like where were you exactly at that position in life where you were looking to say, this is it? Because I'm really finding this whole process fascinating from the complete outside and looking in, because I've had these brows on my eyes for a good while, but when I was talking to Elle, it really is a representation of like a woman's look. It's like their business card. It's like how they walk around. It's the aesthetic. It's a lot involved. So I was curious as to what inspired you once you saw this. Like what was that wow moment or that aha moment?
Well, I mean, I've told this story a million times. I'll tell it again. For me, I don't know that there was an actual aha moment. I actually grew up completely obsessed with Brooke Shields. She was the beauty icon of the 80s. And I was in love with her brows, completely I mean, I was in love with them. Nobody's brows were better. And so as my college career moved on, I graduated, went back to school at Aveda and became an esthetician. I came out of school not really knowing, and estheticians do come out of school, pardon me, not really knowing anything about brow design at all. we get a few days and no real actual guidance other than the textbook guidelines that have been around for decades and have ruined women's brows. So when 2010 rolled around and Instagram was huge and brows started becoming a really big part of the beauty industry, I started thinking, I really want to learn more about this because I don't want to miss this train. I already love them, so I'm pretty confident that I hadn't compromised women's brows in the past because I knew not to do that, but I didn't know what to do. So even having been an esthetician for many, many years, I believe one of my strong suits was that I had the ability to say, there's just something I don't know. So I traveled the country several times seeing US celebrity artists proclaimed on social media. And I found some pictures of those recently. Oh, I'm going to put on the group just for fun. And I walked away spending, a few $1,000s for one trip, plane flights, hotels, one day of viewing this celebrity. I walked away with absolutely no skill, no vision, no skill. I mean, just no technique. And I did it a few times. I saw one of these people twice and the other one, I think at least once, maybe twice. And so I know exactly where I was. I was on vacation in the UP up in Michigan with my kids and my husband. And I was sitting in the living room of our friend's house, just scrolling through Facebook. And I see this ad for TrueBrow. Well, at the time it was it Brow Artists International?
International, yeah.
At the time. And I saw this ad. So I go through this ad. It's a very classy ad, very compelling. And I just clicked, I'd like an interview or a call. So I clicked the ad and I'm like, I have no idea if this is legit. I have no idea what's going to happen. I may get a call. I might not get a call. I don't know who I'm going to talk to. So Elle called me right when she said she'd call me. And, I had this whole list of questions prepared for her. I've been an esthetician since 1995, working full time since 2003 because I had 4 kids and, couldn't work for a while. And I'm thinking in my head, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know, but what can you teach me that I don't know? And, we had our interview and we chatted and I never asked that question. I just never, I'm like, I'm not going to ask this question because this lady knows what she's talking about. So for me, it wasn't a calculated decision. It wasn't a methodical decision. It was a decision of the heart because I just knew that I was going to find what I needed here. And I did.
Wow. And thank you for sharing that like 1 millionth in one time, because that's a very inspiring story. Thank you so much. And really when you came from the heart and you started really working into it, when did it start like holistically affecting everything that you were doing professionally, personally, intellectually? It sounds like it was a whole like revelation there.
It was. I would say it took a little bit of time because, it's really intimidating. It can, depending on the human, right? Like it can be, it takes a lot of courage to put your brow work up. It takes a lot of courage to get feedback in front of like a class of people. And, it took me, I didn't get it right away. Some women get in and they get it right away. It took me a while for it to click and to find the courage to move in the way that we move. And so when that happened, that's when other things started falling into. I would
Wow.
just keep coming back.
Understood. No, thank you so much. Really, that's truly amazing. And KC, same thing for you. Like what inspired you to really get active and involved, in any aha moments?
In 2000, so I had been a makeup artist from 2006 on, and I moved up to North Dakota during the oil boom. And at the time I was looking at becoming a brow, to do tattooing for brows. And I was looking at different ads and all of this. And I saw an ad for Brow Artists International, just like Sabrina was saying. And I ended up booking a call and I talked to, oh gosh, I don't know who I talked to first, but I ended up talking to Elle at some point. And I was really blown away because I grew up in California. I grew up with the idea of like at the time, you know, for example, like I used to watch the show like Girls Next Door, where everything was fake. It was extensions and boob jobs and, you know, getting your lips done and makeup and all of these things. And Elle was really pushing like the natural beauty asset angle of things. You know what I mean? She was really, and I hadn't really heard that even when I went to makeup school. Everything had to be enhanced. Everything had to be fake. Everything was fake. And TrueBrow and what Elle was talking about was something that was authentic, and I was enamored with it. I thought it was amazing. And at the time, I was not an esthetician. I wasn't a cosmetologist at the time. I had just been a makeup artist, and she allowed me to take her business courses, and she allowed me to get on the classes, all with the promise that I would go to school, which I did. And it was a really rough road there for me to even work on clients at the time. Like anybody that would sit for me, anybody that would lay down on the couch or the floor or the bed, anywhere I could get somebody, I was working on them, and I stuck with it. And it wasn't easy for me. It did not come naturally to me. It didn't come easy for me. But Elle just keeps working with me just over and over and over again. And I love everything about it, and things that she's taught me has seeped over into the rest of my business and the rest of the way I do things. The brows is obviously the main thing that she does, but yeah, I work with skin, I work with, I do makeup again, and all of these different things, and it's things that she's taught me has rolled over into all of that. And yeah, I love the idea of protecting natural beauty assets. I really hold on to that because everything is fake. And I just want better for women. You talk to women every single day and you hear their insecurities. You hear the things that make them sad. You hear the things that affect them beauty-wise. And beauty is such a huge aspect for women. And when we keep doing these superficial, you know, extensions and, you know, even eyebrow extensions are a thing now. The tattooing, people say just shave them off and tattoo them. And then you have these scarred up tattoos, and they're turning different colors, and they're green and they're blue and they're orange and they're pink. It affects them. It has a mental and emotional effect on women. And I think that going the way that Elle has preached for years, which is design aspects. This isn't just ripping hair off and making a cleaned up eyebrow. This is the design aspect of it is incredible. I think it does some healing for women naturally. I really do. And I love it. So yeah.
Well, thank you, KC, for sharing that. That's exactly how I felt and what I observed when I started talking to Elle behind the scenes and really seeing everything that was involved. And that's the first thing I said is like, this is healing. Like I'm getting
Yeah.
goosebumps all over my body talking about that. And what I've also observed, and Elle, I also want to get your feedback as far as a perspective on what's been said so far. I just really want to finish this thought because I have several girls in the house, only two boys, and I see the aesthetics being very important and beauty being very important and inside as well as outside. And Elle really helped show me the importance of how that brow needs to sit. Like it needs to be a certain way. And all the way down to the types of scissors. I'm still blown away by that. Like it's a very meticulous
Ridiculous.
process just
Once
to
you
make sure
see
that
it,
that
you can't unsee it.
100% you can never unsee it once you see it. And that's what I was telling her the other day. I'm like walking around, I'm just like, what's happening? Like I can see it's like a whole different world. And it's truly amazing. And really, and thank you for sharing that as well, Sabrina. And Elle, please, if you can jump in and give us some perspective as to what inspired you to even have this process. And then after that, we'll go into some of the actual slides that we have for today's presentation. So
Thanks, Fred. Well, first of all, I hadn't heard Sabrina share in this particular way. So it just shows you, even when you share it a million times, it's always going to come out in some other beautiful way. Sabrina, for me, all of the women inside of the TrueBrow community, really, Fred, these are women that I've had to really step out of my comfort zone and show up so that they could come and find me. Like none of this was really There was it wasn't chance. I mean, I really believe that every single one of these ladies that are here with me, that have been with me 10 years, 11 years, 8 years, and going strong. These are human beings that, you know, we've collided, you know, on purpose. And I know that there's many more out there that are ready to do exactly that and come into this community. Because if you see the caliber of human being that, you know, if you just listen to KC, you listen to Sabrina, these are really extraordinary, remarkable women. And for me, the TrueBrow system is a match. You know, it actually matches. It's not like recently I heard someone say, oh, TrueBrow, oh, that's really like, you know, high end, it's really hard, you know, I don't know that I can do it. I mean, that to me is really not showing up for yourself in your life. That's like someone saying, you know, the best is not really what I'm capable of doing. And I know that one for Casey, she said it was really hard for her. Her work is, she's a world-class, she's one of the top natural brow specialists in the world, sorry. Sabrina is one of the top natural brow specialists in the world. Yes, for them to get to that level, they've worked really hard, but not every single beauty professional has to get to that level. As long as you're doing better brows because you're in the TrueBrow system, that is like remarkable for us, for your clients. Isn't that right, girls? It's not like every single beauty professional is going to reach the standard of the #1 top natural brow, one of the #1 top natural brow specialists in the world. And these girls have done that. Like we have so many of these people that are the, you know, top natural brow specialists in the world, because there was something for me in the beginning where I just went in so hard. And I don't mean not soft, but I mean, I gave it all I had, everything. I would be up at 3 a.m. running a class if I had to, a coaching class. I mean, these girls, I don't even know if they know half of the things that I actually did. They think they know a lot, but there's probably a few little things I haven't shared with them. 5 classes, coaching class, brow coaching classes a week, so that I could get to every single student. So, you know, for me, I showed up and I went in and gave it all, because I needed to prove to the world that the TrueBrow system is the only natural brow system that will give a woman her natural brow potential back. I had to prove that.
I think you've done an amazing job with that. I mean, really. And again,
I think these girls have done an amazing job with.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That's why I want to go back around the room and talk to Sabrina and KC as well. And I'm gonna start with KC on this one for this particular question. As far as like the emotional engagement, talking when you're actually working on a brow, because to Elle's point, that is one of the things that I've heard as well. It's like, oh, like this is hard, or and Toby said, as long as you stick with it and you don't stop, you will continue to grow. So where's the balance between the emotional engagement, like actually learning the process, and the functionality behind getting traction, so that the women who are in the chair look at it and you get that wow factor because you really had to work through learning the process and mastering it?
I'm sorry, I just need some clarity on this question. Are you asking me like how I got there, or are you asking me how okay. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, you're making me think. Yeah, you know, I don't know.
Can I help you?
It's okay.
Sorry, I'm
Actually,
lost
Fred,
on this question.
Can
Yeah,
I
no worries.
just help her a little bit, Fred? Because I
100%.
really understood your question. I think it's like from when you started, and maybe Fred, I'm not actually helping the way you want me to, but I'll give it a go. It's almost like you're emotionally invested, because you're investing on every step into TrueBrow. And then when did the traction start happening? When all of a sudden, you know, clients were coming back and going, you know what, yep, you know, do my brows, because you moved quite a number of states. You kept moving all the time, right? And then
so I
kept building these businesses. So I think, is that right? Is that kind of
yeah, that's it. Because part of that process is that I've noticed that it's more of a journey, not a destination. So
yes.
there's different like ways to get to the mastery. The book is pretty much the same, but how it's almost like you see the same mountain, but there's different paths to take you to get to the top of that mountain. So just looking at it from that viewpoint, I was curious about your journey.
So, so with TrueBrow, it's mastery, like what you said. And that is a really difficult thing for me to wrap my mind around. I mean, it's easier now, I get it now, but back then I could not understand not doing something the right way one time and like getting a certificate for it, like getting that stamp of approval that you did something right. When I was in California, for example, I was very much struggling with TrueBrow, and it was very emotional for me because I wanted to do well with it. And like I said, I was working on people on their couches, on their floors, on beds, just whoever would sit for me for however long. And I'd put another brow up and Elle would be like, this photo is blurry. And I'm not going to lie, I'd have my feelings hurt all the time about it. And not because she was saying anything wrong, but because it's like, why can't I be perfect? Why can't I do this the right way? And but mastery, and this is something that Elle explained to me, you don't even need to feel that way because you're still just moving forward. You're still progressing. And that has seeped over into like even how I am with my daughter. You know, we don't have to be perfect right away. You just keep progressing. You just keep working towards it every single day. And when I got to North Dakota in 2020, I had done 3 classes at that point, and one-on-one with Sabrina. And all of a sudden things started like clicking. And then in 2020, I have clients that I'm not really advertising it. I'm getting referrals. Like people are just sending their friends to me. And my business kind of blew up from there. And I'm in a very small town, but people come to me and they know that I solve their brow problems. They know that if they have something going on with it, I've had women with keloids and bad tattooing and scars and piercings and all kinds of things that kind of like, you know, would mess up a brow normally. Compromised brows, whatever you want to call them. And they're coming to me, and they've even come to me from like hours away. You know, I have people from South Dakota and from Montana that come to see me too. And yeah, it was hard for me. TrueBrow was not an easy journey for me, but I have a lot of emotions when it comes to it because I wanted to do well. I always wanted to do well. And every single time it was like, no, go do it again, go do it again. And that, you know, I had to.
You, Sabrina, did you do that to Casey? Tell her she had to go back and do it again? I bet you that was fast.
Go back and do it again. I still go back and do it again. I say this in class all the time. I go back and do it again. I still have times I go back and do it. I'm going to go back and do it again.
Can I just step in here? I just want to say something about Casey. She is a model student, Red. I've never come across anyone like KC Demarest. You know, she came to us not even able to. I mean, I said yes to her when I really should have said no because she had no license. But I had to make a deal with her. Like it was like making a deal with an angel, knowing the potential of this little angel sitting there going, you know, I really want to be really good at something. Will you let me be really good? Will you let me in? And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to let her do it. And I remember saying to Toby, I don't know what I'm going to do. She's not licensed. And I made her promise that she wouldn't work on anyone in like exchanging money or doing anything that she shouldn't be doing. It was really something that we had to really be aligned with. This is not a normal journey. We've got a human being on this panel that has changed, it's transformed her entire person. For Casey, for me to say to Casey, the brow's blurry, honey, I really want you to take it again. Like, you know, we need it to be really clear. I knew from the other side of the world how that would be landing in her. And you might say, oh, how do you know that? You know, I have certain little gifts, you know, and I don't know, I used to call them curses. Now I know they're blessings and gifts. But back, you know, sometimes when I was younger, I used to think, how do I know these things? I knew it was going to land, but I knew something else. I knew what she actually really wanted was to be the best at something. And I don't know what to say, but she did it. Like, do you know what it's like to have a human being where you know they want to be the best at something and you have to show up for them all the time? Like if I turned around and I said to her, that's good enough, thanks, Casey, she would have left by now because she didn't want that. You know, how was I going to get her to be the best if I didn't show up for her? If Sabrina didn't say, "Al, Casey just has to fix that little part of the brow," just not say, okay, let's.
I'm the one who gets thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
regular
Sabrina,
basis.
I was just about to jump in there too, Sabrina. I was just about to jump in there because one thing that I'm noticing is that there's so much poise on this panel, but also real collaboration. And Sabrina, your spot, I really wanted you to go a little bit deeper into that because I could see it.
Well, yeah, so I have a few things to say. The first thing is that when I met Elle, I was working at one of the premier spas in the Twin Cities with 15 other estheticians. So I do not own my own business, and TrueBrow really looks for entrepreneurs, if I'm not mistaken, or at least we have. I'm not sure how we're moving forward. So Elle said yes to me when I told her that I was planning on, going out on my own. I just wasn't there yet. And it was 2 more years before I actually did that. So during that time, and she had to trust that I would be in my room, not teaching these concepts to 15 other estheticians. And she did trust me, and I did not share that. And what I would do, I did models all the time during that 2 years. Like I would work after hours until I got to a place where I could go to my front desk and say, I'm not doing 15-minute brow waxes anymore. I will be doing TrueBrow design. And I taught no one anything. And interestingly enough, no one was curious. But I put a TrueBrow design on my books. No one else had that. And I did designs, but I would work on the girls at the front desk. So to answer your question about when did people start coming back, as soon as you start, even rudimentary, as soon as you start really implementing those design concepts that we learn, people start seeing a difference. Like you're doing something different than everyone else is doing. This isn't what everyone else is doing. So I had a client really quickly come in yesterday, and I see her, she leaves for months at a time. So while she was gone, she saw someone for her brows. So she came in and she was saying, I found this place. It was called so-and-so aesthetics. She said it sounded very nice. And she goes, I go in and I lay down on the woman's table and she spends 15 minutes on my brows and she's done. And she goes, I go, oh, you thought you were going to get this. She said, I thought I was going to get this. I'm like, you're not going to get this. You're going to get it in certain places, but you're not going to get, like with TrueBrow specialists, but you're not getting this when you book a service somewhere that you think is going to be wonderful. So I thought we were laughing. I thought that was hilarious. But
Wow.
I think that I have a very specific thought. I think that because I come from, my original place was from an academic, I was a student, I studied, I was always learning. I think personally, there's an epidemic in the beauty industry. People want to go to a weekend class. They want, whether it's something as serious as microblading, dermaplaning, brow shaping, they want to go take a weekend class. They want to get their certificate and they want to come back and they want to put it on their wall and they want to say, I'm a master. I've been taught by so-and-so. I know how to do this. People need to embrace the journey. They need to embrace, and that's why it's a special person. That's why the women who come into TrueBrow understand, and the women who excel with TrueBrow understand that it is a journey. And I completely agree with Toby. If you just stick with it, you will get better. And if you can't embrace the journey, if you just want that certificate, it's not going to work for you. But if you truly want to master something, the other thought I had, sorry, because I lost this. I have always said to people, mostly if I've met a younger esthetician along the way, or clients, I've always said you can make a choice in this industry, because this industry is moving to a higher educated level. It has not always been that way in the past. You can choose in this industry to have a job, or you can choose to have a career. And there's a big difference between a job and a career. And I wanted a career. That was my motivation. I wanted a career. And I always said, because I grew up, theoretically speaking, in a spa with 15 competitors, and I built my own clientele. And I remember saying to the spa concierge, I was really green, I don't have to be the best. I just want to be one of the best, because there's room for everyone. I just want to be one of them. That's all.
Now do you know why I love these women? Now do you know
Yeah, we're
why?
having a little bit of an echo, Elle,
Sorry,
there.
I was just going to say, now do you know why I love these girls?
Yeah, 100%. It's
They're
really
just
powerful to
they're
hear it
so
from them. I mean, it's very, very powerful, because it's like to hear that you can be a competitor and a collaborator. It's really the power of choice, but more specifically, when you have a process that's like this, taking it from this extreme academic side. That's why I was saying that there's an art and science to this. Like it really is, and you can start out either way, but the way that you've engineered this TrueBrow methodology, it's like it's the holistic. You're going to get the full 5D experience through time if you just stick with it long enough, and that's what I've been picking up.
Oh, wow, you just blew my mind. You're going to get the 5D experience. The client will get it with their brows, but the esthetician or brow specialist will get it with their journey. That's cool.
Yay!
That is epic. No, I definitely appreciate it. And
Can I just share something that, because I'm listening to these girls and I want to share it from my perspective. I believe that as soon as someone steps into TrueBrow and they do some of their training, like they read their online course, they do a couple of live brow coaching classes, they don't even put their brows up, but they just look at the way that we see the brow and how we think about the brow using the TrueBrow system, that their brow work immediately changes. It's instant, right? They can't do the same brow they did before those two, say, live brow coaching classes that are an hour each and reading some of their training. You must say, how much? Well, when they get started, sometimes they can't stop. So they just keep reading and reading their online course. And the point that I'm making is that from their perspective, it took forever. But from my perspective, I see change immediately. Like I see the most unbelievable change. And especially now, it's almost like we're on a little bit of a different kind of, our path is a little bit different. And you'll see that people are doing really good work really fast. For them, because they want to be one of the best, they're referencing themselves, with, say, for example, the work that I might have done, or girls that come in are referencing themselves on Casey's work now or Sabrina's work, and they're thinking, am I ever going to get there, and so on and so on. But the point really is that as soon as they step in, that's it. It's never the same again. Now, when they step out, and this is why it's a journey, can you, because you haven't done your proficiency or you haven't had another set of like educator eyes on your work to just tweak it a little bit or get you back on track, can you fall off the path and step way out to some other whatever? Yes. And I think that that's one thing the beauty industry does not check in on. And that's why with TrueBrow, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life. But it's been like, well, hang on a minute, you've got to stay proficient. Because what happens is girls get really, really busy in the salon. And you girls can attest to this. All of a sudden, you're standing in the wrong position, or you turn your bed, or I look at Casey's brows and I'm thinking, oh, wow, what happened there? What's going on? Maybe she needs a class or something. Not that there's anything bad with them, not that they're wrong, but she might have just lost a little bit of something subtle and delicate. So she comes to Greece, does 1 day with me, and the other 2 days we do a transformational mentoring retreat, goes back, whole brow world is completely, you can see it on her Instagram feed, totally changed. And we're talking about a few little tweaks, you know, just subtleties. But no one steps into TrueBrow and just enters the door, just puts their foot in the river, you know, in the lake, and doesn't actually give their clients something different. Of course, there is the path of, you know, like reaching world class. We're talking world class. We're not talking the best in your location here. This is the top of the mountain, you know. This is Mount Everest, these girls. That's where they are when it comes to the natural brow and what they can do. You can see it on some of the slides. It's phenomenal. But, you know, you can have a beauty professional that comes in and she just wants to do something really good for her clients. She wants to do better brows. She doesn't want to master it. She doesn't want to be the best in the world. But without this, it really is too hard. Because, you know, as I've said to you before, I really do believe, and the girls can share what they think. I believe that the TrueBrow system is the true, real system for the natural brow. This is the one that anyone that touches brows should be actually learning this first.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. And that's what I was going to say in this next part. Sabrina and KC can just go straight in because we're going to present the slides and now we can get that full experience as to how their journey is. So, and I really thank you for that, because what also I'm hearing is, because there is so much certainty in the process, you can look from all the way across the world and see that and observe that. And especially in KC's particular case, because I've been to North and South Dakota and she talked about people coming from that distance. I know how far the interstates are from each other. So they're doing some traveling just to come see her. It's really a big deal. So 100% I agree. And anything you want to say while Toby's getting the slides up?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
Right today. What's going on with KC? That's unusual.
I get nervous though.
That's all right,
No,
darling.
really thank you for showing up the way that you are, because for me, just really wanting to get full understanding, it's given me a lot of perspective, even with my daughters, because the first time we started speaking, I was asking my daughters a lot of questions and they're like, yeah, that's true. Oh, wow. Yeah. So it's really a great experience. And thank you so much. And yes, we can please go into the slides and I will follow your lead.
Oh. So, Toby, if you could just sit on this one for stop on this one for a minute. I think that I actually picked this slide and I put it up. This was actually created by Olivia in Edmonton in Canada. Olivia's my daughter, so that's saying a thing or two, I guess. She's doing great guns. Just opened up her commercial space. I think that you know, one of the things that is really, really important that I see is just the design principles in use here. And really, if we look at this brow on the screen left, we really can see that there's quite a bit of friction and a dipping and so on. And what Olivia's actually done is use the TrueBrow system to create such beautiful harmony. Sabrina, I would love for you to share, or KC, what you see that I might have missed on this brow, actually. That would be awesome.
Do you mean from a design perspective?
Yeah, how you see it. Like,
well, I think Olivia has done a beautiful job. I really wish the models or the client's eyes were open in the after, but I completely get that, because you get the best photo that you can. But I think she just looks like a different human. She looks very soft and approachable. There's just something really different about her essence, looking from the before to the after.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Love that. That's beautiful. Casey, is there anything you want to share about this particular brow?
I was thinking about the word friction, because I've been trying to explain some of the, like, some design concepts to my clients, and friction is one of them. Because when you look at her before, right, like her brows are they're they're uneven and they're pulling in different directions and all of that. And then you have Olivia's work, which is thoughtfully designed and just soft and open and feminine and all these things. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm pretty sure before when she was getting waxed, she's trying to get like this high arch and all these other things, which are completely unnecessary, do nothing for her. And design wise on Olivia's work, it's just easy. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, that's
versus what it was before. And explaining that to my clients is, I think that's another reason why I end up getting clients coming back, is because all of a sudden they're realizing that this is not just getting your hair ripped off real quick. This is thoughtful, and there's a lot that goes into it. Just the idea of explaining friction to clients is just, it kind of elevates what it is that you're doing. So
yeah, that's beautiful. And I think that's even fantastic for the beauty professional, the esthetician, you know, when you're explaining that you want to remove the friction from the brow, because when you're removing the friction from the brow, the client instantly looks younger. You're changing the expression. And something that you said once, Casey, was that brows have emotion, which I just loved that. That was so powerful. You're changing the emotion. And like Sabrina said, the essence of the woman. That's how powerful really the brow is, Fred. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a part of the face that can literally transform a woman within 60 minutes. You know, love this brow, so I wanted to share it. We can go to the next one now and have a look. And the reason that I put this one up is because this talks about time frames. So if you look at the caption on the side, Olivia, this is another one of Olivia's, she's actually shared that this brow from screen left to right took 6 to 7 months. So that's really where our 4D, four-dimensional, the 4D comes into play, which is the time factor. You need to give the brow time to heal. You need to give the brow time to reveal itself to you, and you're working with it continuously and improving on it, just like you're improving. You're also improving the brow. So it's really just all about improving, isn't it? That's our word. We're just always improving, always getting better, always getting better. So Sabrina, did you want to share anything about that brow, or should we move? Oh, look, we move forward.
This brow.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking that it's really lovely how, I mean, to me, well, when you look at the before, I mean, her eyes, I noticed them, but when you look at the after, her eyes, all of her eyes just pop.
Yeah.
Just really pop. And she also looks like I mean, she's a young woman to begin with, but she just looks younger and more, I don't know, just something about her eyes just seem brighter.
What's the word we're kind of looking for? You know, when we look at a brow like this and we look at a woman that actually has gone from screen left to screen right, there is a word I've never been able to find. I don't know what it is, but there's something that happens that's kind of like, well, I really think it must be transformational or something, like the woman herself just—
There's more radiance.
Yeah, it's like this just complete kind of shift into something else for her. Like she gets given more of herself to express outwardly. I don't know. If anyone can come up with a word, that'd be cool. This particular brow was a brow that we worked on in one of our live streaming masterclasses. And this is just again to show you that someone can come in, their brows can be not level. As you can see on this brow, one brow, it sort of starts here and then the other one is down here. And within like 60 minutes, really, you actually get the brows level and you're actually on the way. It's a work in progress. You can see that this has got some shading on it to show what the vision for the future is. That really is what this is showing. But, you know, the first thing that you will learn with the TrueBrow system is how to get the brow level. Like how many brows are walking around where one's higher than the other, just like that. And that it's seemingly that's okay. Then we have, this is another Olivia one actually. Gosh, there's a lot of Olivia ones in the beginning. I brought this up on purpose because I wanted to show like just how round the tattoo, this is a tattoo obviously, how round it is. There's a lot of roundness there. Here there's kind of either an incorrect microblading design or it's starting to fade and therefore it's coming down. And you know, this is what, I mean, girls, would you like to share what you're seeing in salons with this kind of work that needs TrueBrow System sort of support for your clients?
I just
Well,
had.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Casey, please.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I'll go after. Mhm.
I just had another client come in the other day and she got microbladed, and I'm going to be putting her up on a live class, but she just got microbladed in Mexico here about 4 or 5 years ago. And she has all of this brow hair. There's not a thing in the world wrong with it. But they took the brow and they brought it all the way down to like here.
Right.
And just, it does nothing for her. It does absolutely nothing for her. And you can see it. You can see it right through the hair. And that's what people are, it's not just me, because that's what I look at. I know other people just see it, and it's just a distraction.
Yeah.
And same thing with this client that Olivia worked on, like that did nothing for her.
Yeah.
It
I mean, she
didn't
didn't
elevate
need
her
it.
beauty.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, she doesn't need it. Look how much hair she has. You
No,
know,
she didn't need it. And
Yeah.
it doesn't elevate her beauty. It doesn't make her look more chic. If she was just looking to not have to put makeup on her eyebrows every day, which is what I hear when people say, oh, I got microbladed or tattooed because I didn't want to put makeup on them anymore. You know, it's tragic. It's tragic what women are doing to try to feel better about themselves. And they're going to people that, you know, they took an 8-hour class and, you know, are just doing something that they say is not permanent, but it absolutely is. I think that's an absolute lie that's being, you know, pushed. But I don't
so
know.
Fred, you might want to ask the girls some questions around that. I mean, I could, but I'll hold myself back.
Yeah. This is the part that I use the phraseology, and it's something that's mortifying women just because they don't know what they don't know. And from an information perspective, it's really inspiring to see TrueBrow getting out there and educating. My question would be, whenever like what's that person's emotional state when they realize that perhaps, I mean, you're giving them hope because this is a process. So how are you handling that part of the conversations? Is it a conversation at all in the chair? Like, are you like because this is a transformational process, sale. So I know that's what we were looking at as far as the wording goes. But I really want to get like your viewpoint and perspective, because you see this every single day. Do you have to put the client at ease to say, hey, it's not your fault, or like how do you work through that? That's something that to me is very it's at a critical point.
I think it's really important to let the client know that you're going to do everything you can possibly do to help repair and heal what they're dealing with, and that it will take some patience and some time. And I just think that you have to move real just lovingly with them the whole way through, because you really do have to work with what comes into your studio. You can't, under most circumstances, completely ignore the tattooing. And sometimes, you know, you have to engage even finding a beautiful design. Sometimes you have to engage, you know, a couple of other modalities to help cover things up here and there, to find that design. But you just really have to, I think you just really have to be very gentle and just reassure them each time that you see them that, you know, I'm going to continue to do everything I can possibly do to give you a beautiful design.
I think that if I could just butt in, I would like to just share right here at this point that if anyone watching this, if the one thing they get from this particular panel is that the myth that microblading is essential is a myth, it's actually a very terrible lie. I'll go as far as to say that. And I've stayed silent for a long time, Fred. And I've wanted to respect the process. And however, what I've noticed and what we're all noticing at TrueBrow is that the silence is now deafening, because it's like that. It's like what we're seeing on the faces of women and young women that will be scarred, women that have told it's okay, just come and have laser hair removal, and they've gone and had it 20 times and they've got scarring on their faces. This is no longer a time for silence. It is a time for some disruption, and to actually say to women, please don't believe everything you're reading. And to say kindly to beauty professionals, don't believe everything you're being told. And for me, I'm lucky enough because I actually get the beauty professionals to come and speak to me and tell me, I've just spent $10,000 doing a microblading course. I don't know what to do. I don't even like it. I think it's horrible. And I'm being told to practice on my clients. These are the behind the scenes things that now need to come out into the open. And we need to speak about them, and we cannot be afraid. We can't silence ourselves any longer. It really is a tragedy. And we talk about significance, Fred, a lot. Right? We talk about leaving behind a legacy. What sort of legacy is that? That we're defiling the faces of beautiful women and beautiful young women for the sake of a pretend short-term fix. It's just not true. So I do want to step in and say that and allow the girls to actually move with that tone, because it is that serious now. And what Sabrina said is true. It takes so much tender, loving care to deal with a person that has done that, knows they've made a mistake, and feels already inside that she's done the wrong thing, but it's really hard to even admit it. But she's living with that every single day. So having said that, I'd love to hear what Cassie has to say, actually.
I mean, you summed it up really well. And I just, yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think it's a lie that's being sold to women out of convenience, or like, we're not talking somebody that's lost all their eyebrow hair and this is what they're, going for. We're talking about women that have plenty of hair, plenty to work with. They're being sold the lie of convenience. They're being sold the lie of it, of it fading eventually, that they can try it. And if they don't like it, it'll go away in a few years. Just horrible, absolutely horrible, and just maims their face. Like, that's what you see. And it turns green and blue and purple and orange. How long do they walk around like that before they go and get color corrected? And then they get color corrected and they end up with the keloid scarring, or nerve damage is the other thing that I've seen. It's crazy.
And Fred, for all of you girls, Fred is a marketer. So he understands marketing, and this is misleading. This is marketing that is misleading, right? It's getting a result, but it's got nothing to do with authenticity. It's got nothing to do with integrity. It really has just got something to do with money. And I think that ultimately, who are the people making the money here, right? Because even the beauty professionals at the end of the day are going to lose their reputations. They're going to feel bad about what they're doing. These are the women that are coming to me saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I've spent all the money, some of them tens of thousands of dollars, and they've stepped up and come to us, and they'll even say, these are the things, that the facts that we're not being told. They're not being told. So it's not their fault. Again, it's like, wow, where does this, don't they say follow the money? I don't know. Let's follow the money. Let's find out the root cause of where is this coming from, right? Because this is wrong. And it's just wrong. And maybe sorry, Fred, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I can just tell you that, Sabrina, you talk about your mind is blowing. I'm over here like,
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking, we just don't put bumper stickers on Mercedes.
Yeah,
that's a bar. That's a writer downer.
Yeah, he's gonna write that down. Don't worry,
That's a
he'll write
writer
it down. Look, there he goes. Look, he's gonna write it down.
Well,
and
that's the reasons why I'm glad we're having this conversation, because we've done our best to enter it with gentleness and grace. And we saw a few of the slides, and apologies, Toby. I know we wanted to go through all of them, but it's like, this is the one right here where the clients have to make a choice, and also the person who's working on the brow has to make a choice, because now it's going from a knowing problem into a doing problem. Because as TrueBrow's really getting out to the industry and starting to educate, to say, hey, it doesn't have to be this way. As a matter of fact, you're going to retain your clients and charge higher pricing, because you're showing true value. No copyright infringement there, but it's just like, literally, you really are showing true value in just how your work is, and you have this methodology that's actually proven, and it's repeatable, and it's continuous and never ending improvement. That's kanai. That's actually a Japanese phraseology. It's constant and never ending improvement, right? But to the woman in the chair, they're getting a You've said it best, Elle. Like just changing the arch can give them a facelift. Just doing certain tweaks and shifts and adjustments. And I've seen templates out there. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I'm just like, I'm getting confused, and I'm just now starting to just get into the market. I'm not even actively looking to get worked on, but it's just like this is what's out there, and it is what it is, but it also is what we're making it. So my question would be, as far as the future, Sabrina and Casey, of what you're seeing in the chair, what could you inform the public on, inspire the public about that you've seen, you observed, because you worked on a lot of brows in real time, and you're continually out here in the field doing it in real time. What's one or two things that you can say to keep the women inspired and motivated and actually encouraged? I want to use that word for some strange reason. To just come see you, like check out this side of the industry.
Well, I think it's important to step away to a certain extent from what we see on social media, because what we're seeing is not real. I mean, I always like to say, I blame it all on the Kardashians. I mean, these women getting their eyebrows tattooed, they're seeing these humans sell something there's not one real piece of them. I mean, there's nothing real about them. And that's what women are wanting. Like younger girls, women are coming now into plastic surgeons wanting surgery to look like their filters on social media, and how they are able now to filter and change their faces with all of these apps. So I think there is a movement. It's a small movement so far, but there is a movement among women, and even very famous women, to step away from what is not real. I mean, you look at Pamela Anderson, God bless her. She runs around now to even the Met Gala with no makeup on, and even risks being Sarah Jessica Parker is ridiculed on social media every time they photograph her without makeup, because everyone is asking, why aren't you making yourself look younger? You're an actress. And she has said, quoted, am I not supposed to get older? Like, is that not supposed to happen to me? So I just think that it's going to take a collective movement of women to, I have to be real careful here, because I also think that someone should take care of themselves. But to be moved and inspired by something that is completely not real is not going to lead you in any way towards something that is fulfilling.
So can I just add I'll add a couple of words to that. Well, I don't believe that doing that is actually taking care of you. That if you do that, if you take yourself out of what's actually you, the unique, beautiful you, and you try and create something other than you, that's not you taking care of you. That's you actually dismissing you. That's like you just like hiding you in a corner and saying you're not good enough and that you need to look like something else. And that's deeply, deeply sad for the feminine of this, every female on this planet. You're not doing yourself a favor, but you're not doing any woman on this planet a favor. Every woman that's gone through so much to be seen, to show up in her life, to excel, to fight for equal rights, every one of those women, you're saying, I'm giving up. I'm going to give up on all of that. I'm not okay as I am. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm 60 years old. I've been in this industry for 40 years, and I have to tell you that it's so beautiful to age. There is something so remarkable about accepting that all the way to the core of what it actually means for a woman and what happens to you. Like something really happens that is so transformational. And if you miss out on that, you haven't lived. It is a part of your life. You can't stop it. You can't shut it down. Doesn't matter what you try, you think you can do. It's just impossible. but you could miss it. And I'm here to tell you that it's remarkable. You don't want to miss it. You really don't. And I love what Sabrina has just said. And I think that people like the Kardashians, other celebrities that are doing these things because they feel they're under pressure, they have to. Everyone has their choice. You know, we have to really look out through the lens of our own beautiful, fresh eyes. And we need to say, everyone is allowed their choice, but what am I going to do? You know, and who am I going to be for my clients? That is like really significant and really, really important. Who are you going to be for your clients? And that our clients need us. They need us to show up for them in a real and beautiful way. If other people aren't, that's fine, but we can.
100%.
Sorry, Casey, I think it was your turn.
Just to kind of sum up real quick, like with my clients, I tend to always bring up a quote, and I'm that Elle had shared years ago, and that brows are not a fashion state. They're not a fashion statement. They're not a beauty trend. They're what is it?
A beauty statement.
Beauty statement. Thank you. I lost it. They're not a fashion statement. They're not a trend. They're a beauty statement. And when I tell them that, that's kind of how I open up and start to steer them in a direction where they can start to appreciate their own personal beauty, their own personal design, their own personal brow hair, their own personal natural beauty assets that I'm committed to protecting, and moving with them through that. Because we are so inundated all the time, social media, the Kardashians, everything's fake, like I said, and to start to steer someone's, or not steer, but to influence them in a way where they can start appreciating themselves, appreciate their own natural beauty is, it's another kind of transformation. It's interesting to see women go and start to feel okay with themselves, start to let things go, because beauty is such a big part of us. And we all have some tragic story about how we've been wounded at one point or another, and to say that we are just fine the way that we are, and here's beautiful design that's just for you. It's all about you. It's unique to you. I think is really powerful, and it's something that's not being pushed. I don't see anywhere else.
Wow.
So.
Well, definitely thank you, because I know this has been extremely eye-opening for me. It's just really inspiring to know that there is another alternative out there. Because again, getting a little bit into my backstory, I've seen everything from the tattooing in my family to the microblading, and just to know that there is a third option. Well, there's a lot of options, but this is like the top level option where you can continue to gracefully move on with your life and also still have, like you said, chic. I love that word. That's one of my favorite words. So, you still can be chic and still have this natural beauty going on as long as you're on this planet. To me, is very inspiring. So I really appreciate.
What about the word sassy?
Sassy? Okay, we can have sassy as well, because I do have some sassy sisters in the house. So yeah, if you guys can just let me know like how you want to close this, Elle. I'm super thankful to have been on this panel, and did we cover everything that we needed to cover?
Well, I think we've done really well. I would have liked to have shown more brows, but we chatted so much because we have so much to say, Fred. You have to understand these girls, these women have got so much to share because this is so important to us. But I would like Toby to find one slide before we go, which is Casey's brow. If you go all the way, Casey, Toby, please, to the brow. You can flick through them if you just share the screen. There's no problem. But I really would like to just go to that brow. Yep, just keep going through. We'll know when we've got it. There we are. And this is, Casey, can you just close this by just having a few words, sharing a few words about this particular brow?
So this client came in with microblading and tattooing. She had both done, and she had been professionally mapped, and they did all these things, and yet she was still incredibly uneven. Her brows are thick and short, and the tattoo goes where her hair isn't even naturally at. It's just this black, and it's thick too, like the actual skin is scarred. And And I was able to create this in about 10 months. I kept putting her up on my live classes because it was,
Yes.
and
Sorry,
she
I was
was,
going to say that.
yeah, it took about 10 months to get her where she is now. But, and using her natural hair, and to give it some beautiful design work, and working with where she is, how she came in. I had a lot of feedback from Elle and from Sabrina, and obviously now we have this now, but yeah, it was a lot of work. It was a lot
So,
of
Casey, can I just clarify? Sorry for interrupting, but just because I know Sabrina's got a client coming in. I just want to clarify, there is no, sorry? Sabrina, did you say something?
No, I apologize for interrupting, because I am used to being on our live classes, and I know that I interrupted Casey, and we're looking to get good sound bites, so I apologize for that.
You're fine.
No, that's fine. I think I wanted to, there's no tattoo removal here that's going on.
No.
This is just working with your knowledge, and also putting it on our live brow coaching classes, which happen weekly, and getting Sabrina and myself to support you to get
Yes.
that where she's got the tattoos still under there. And what
Mhm.
you've done is lifted the brow, leveled it, and you've actually covered
Changed her face. Yeah. I
her.
had people coming to me. I had people coming to me telling me that they knew that that was my work.
Yeah.
'Cause
I'm
she's
just
gone.
completely blown away, completely coming in, looking at this, going, what just happened
It's
here? Is this even the
absolutely
same person?
gorgeous.
Yeah, this is stunning. Wow.
Thank you.
And I mean, Fred, you know,
It
just
was all three of us. It was all three of us.
well, it was you, actually it was you, but really believing in the beginning that you could do something with this brow. This is Kelsey's brow, actually. And again, you know, you can see all the hair, Fred, where the arrows are below, all of that's real hair. That's not growth serums where the hair will fall out and then you've done nothing, made a bigger mess. That's actually the client's real hair. You can see that that's where Kelsey started at the before and got to that a few months later. The shape is beautiful, the design is beautiful, the fullness is really there. I mean, that is just, for me, the kind of work that, you know, amazes me with the TrueBrow system. That is what the beauty professional out there that really wants to do amazing brows, better brows, it doesn't matter what level she wants to get to. It's the way there is the TrueBrow system. It's the true way. Oh, did I say that? You said true value, true way, true brow. It's just true, isn't it?
We'll have the true franchise nomenclature.
True, yeah.
In a second.
Everything true.
Everything true.
But it
Yeah.
really is a bit like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely want to thank everybody for being on this panel. Sabrina, thank you so much. I know you have a client coming in here right now. And yeah, for anybody watching this, definitely, what's the next action step that you want them to do, Elle?
Well, we would love for them to contact us and go to truebrow.com and say, you know, I want to learn more. I want to step in. I want to call. I mean, you know, we just want you just reaching out and knowing that this can be for you too, and can be at exactly the place that you want to be. You know, TrueBrow doesn't tell you where to go. It just opens up the whole road to you and says, this is what we have. So please reach out to us and book a call, ask questions, send through an inquiry. We're here waiting. And I did want to add one more thing. I didn't mention it earlier, but KC is one of our blossoming educators in the USA too. So that's her real next. Very excited about that for the United States.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. All right, everyone, take care and we will chat soon.